And we're live. How you doing,
We're
Jamie?
live on the fucking internet.
Boom.
Well, people watch us and they comment on our lives. It's great. What's the crack, Jared? Thanks for having me on your wonderful podcast. You tell me there you did 200 episodes, or near enough to 200 around. Jesus, that's some going, man. Fair play.
Dude, you know, where I have the quantity, you have the quality. I love your podcast. Dude, it's spot on.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say you're way more talented than I'll ever be, but I'll take the compliment. I'll take it.
You may as well. But Jamie, for people who may not know you, how about you introduce yourself?
That's always a tough question. I never know how to really answer that because I still don't know who I am. Joking. I still don't know what I'm doing, really. I'm kind of doing a lot of Twitch streams now, so some people would call me a streamer. I'm doing that. I'm doing the podcast, as you know. You've seen a little bit of it yourself. I have a degree in media production and film, so I'm trying to eventually get down the road of making documentaries and films, and I also do a bit of marketing work and presenting as well. So it sounds like I'm boasting here, but I'm actually not. This is more of the opposite because I don't know what I'm doing. Do you know what I mean? I have me toes dipped in so many pies, even though that's not an analogy anybody uses, that I don't know which pie to squash.
I've never heard that. I may write that one down. That's just dipping me toes in the pies. That's just
I don't know which one to put the weight on. Do you know what I mean? I don't know which pie to kind of go for. So I thought, how would you, from what you've seen what I do, how would you introduce me? What would you say? There's one for you.
All around king, sound lad. I know Winter Soldier, but with a leg, you know. Yeah, dude. No, I don't know. I think you're just a brilliant interviewer. I think you also ask questions that everyone thinks. Because dude, when you do like some of those, you go out in the streets or whatever, and you ask people questions, dude. I love them. I love them. And even like when I see on the Try channel, it used to be called Facts or whatever. It's a remake.
Yeah, on the Try channel as well. Yeah, forgot about that. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, you kind of forgot about that whole thing.
Yeah.
That little detail.
That just small detail of one of the biggest YouTube channels in Ireland. I forgot about that. Yeah, I actually did. Yeah. But I'm just a part of that. I'm not a producer or anything. I'm just a.
But just the part you have on that as well is just.
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man. I really fucking appreciate that. I'm gonna have a big head today after this podcast.
Well, look, there's a reason I asked John. Like I've asked like a total of 3 people, and thankfully they've all gotten on, yourself included. But I was browsing YouTube as I do, and I was getting ready to do an interview with the Hardy Bucks again because we had Chris on, and then I was looking at your one. I was like, so this guy's probably into the same kind of stuff, and I was like, oh, he's on Try Channel too. Well, I've seen him before. Oh my god, it's this guy, because I know I seen it. I only got back onto your channel after I seen the Martin Maloney interview thing pop up.
Yeah,
it's like a year old, but then I started going into it again. I was like, there's no way I cannot ask this guy on.
I appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Even like some of the, it's not exactly a studio setup for it, but like sitting there with like a little beanie and like a completely white room, you know. I don't know. I just think what you do is pretty spot on. So I'd love to talk to you today.
I'm hoping it is. Look, I'm still fucking learning. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I say so much stuff lately that's really fucking deep and philosophical, and I don't mean it to be, but it's just the way it is. Like I feel like I'm on the first step. Do you know what I mean? Like it took me a while to kind of get into the garden and walk up the garden, and then I finally got up to the garden and I opened the door, and I feel like I'm on the first step, and I'm kind of finding what I'm good at, and I'm finding out what I should do and what I shouldn't do. And I'm just ready to climb the stairs, Jared. I'm just ready to climb the stairs and make this kind of a full-time thing that I do. And I appreciate you saying that I'm good at interviewing. A lot of people do say that, and I'm quite critical about myself, Jared. I constantly second guess what I'm doing, and I'm like, was that good? What? Do you know what I mean? So it really means a lot that you say that, because a lot of other people have said that, and it means a lot in the sense that, like, oh shit, like people are noticing this. Do you know what I mean? People are actually noticing these interviews to the sake of like they're actually sending me a message and saying, "Will you come on my podcast because I like your podcast, or I like your interview, the way you interview people. I think it's very interesting and stuff." So that really means a lot to me because it's like it kind of puts me more on the right track. Do you know what I mean? Of like, maybe I should focus a little bit more on that and less on fucking dressing up like a leprechaun on Paddy's Day on Twitch. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Well, I'm glad. I'll tell you now, honestly, I have not seen the leprechaun thing, but
Yeah, you probably don't want it, to be honest. You
mm,
probably don't want to see that one. But I do have a very fucking wild side to me. Do you know, a lot of me,
you
if you look,
figure.
a lot of me old videos and stuff were completely like bonkers kind of comedy. They weren't a specific genre. They were just kind of madness meshed into a video. And I think I'll always have that wild kind of personality to me where I enjoy the ridiculousness of doing certain things, or I enjoy I enjoy people coming into my stream sometimes wondering what the fuck is going on. Like I kind of embrace that as well, and I don't want to lose that either. But I don't know. Yeah, I kind of have two sides to me in a way. That sounds awful. I'm not. I'm not a
No,
psychopath.
you're right. Like, yeah, no, you could have, have your, how you getting on right now? Then the leprechaun thing, but it's also like, there's a dog. It's
Lovely
also
doggy.
interviewing Owen Colgan in the car park. Like, that's just next level.
Yeah, that was actually one of my first ever like interviews for YouTube. Like I know I'm doing the podcast now, but I'm still not doing that even consistently enough as I should be. But yeah, that was more like I was reaching out to Owen for ages because I was a massive fan of Hardy books, and I saw he was doing some like that was years ago now, that interview, but I saw he was doing some social media stuff like similar to what I was doing. So I was like, oh, I'd love to just have a chat to him, and like when he said yeah, it was like Christmas to me. Do you know what I mean? So he was like, yeah, but I'm really busy at the moment, so you'll have to come out to Swords and film it there. And he just gave me a time, so I was like, maybe he has like a location or something.
Yeah.
So when I arrived, he was like, as he is, he's very laid back, Owen is. And when I arrived, he was just like, oh, we could do it in a pub or whatever. Like his idea was we do it in a pub, but I didn't want to do it in a pub. So I was like, I don't know, a pub like this, we're going to hear all the noise around us and we'll have to ask for permission and it'll be a bit awkward. So we went into one or two pubs and I wasn't feeling it. And he was like, do you want to just do it on the fucking streets for the crack to kind of add a bit of humor to it? So, yeah, that's how we ended up in a car park doing that interview. But it's funny, like, because I didn't like, like I thought that was absolutely terrible. Do you know what I mean? The way I handled that interview. But some people liked it. But you'll see in the comments, there's a lot of people like from like Mayo and saying stuff like, "Who the fuck is this Dublin arrogant prick?" And because like I was still like I hadn't found who I was yet, or so I was still kind of, who am I doing this interview? And it's hard to do an interview when you don't really know who you are. Do you know what I mean? Or what way you're going to approach the interview.
Jesus.
It was more like a
Getting deep
fan.
now.
Yeah, it was more like a fan meeting an idol and then trying to turn it into like a podcast that was like 10 minutes long. But yeah, it's I enjoyed it, but I think some of the ones I did later on with Ona were a lot better and kind of a bit more real and down to earth. But it was crazy. Motorbike in the background that Owen pretended was his and shit.
Yeah. Did you need a license for that? No, just need to know how to spell ninja.
Yeah, that was all just off the cuff. He's the man's a genius, though. He really is.
No, he really is. I had the pleasure of interviewing him too. He's one of my earliest ones. I think he might have actually been the first. He might have been, but dude, I was same as yourself. I was just a fan, freaking out or trying to contain that I was freaking out.
Yeah, that's what I was as well. I was exactly that, and the thing about him though is he's so fucking down to earth. Like he's I was just a college fucking student, and he said yeah to doing the interview there when he was very well known as around Ireland. Hardy Books was still out and stuff like that when that interview went out, and I think the movie was just after being released, or maybe it was 6 months after the movie or whatever. So he's very much in the height of his fame. He probably will rise further than that. I'm sure he will, but I mean, he was in a good place, and for him to say yeah to me was brilliant. But I think the most successful people in this world are they're always very fucking nice. Do you know what I mean? They're always very approachable and talkable, and I think that's why they kind of are successful in a way as well. And from that interview, though, I actually became, I'd say, friends with Owen now. Do you know what I mean? I chat to him the odd time on Messenger, or we meet up for a pint the odd time, or do a little bit of a gig from the odd time, camera work or whatever. But
Not bad.
which is crazy, yeah. So that's how down to earth he is, you know, which is fantastic. I love the chap. What an absolute beast of a man. You're a big Hardy Books fan, are you? You're mad into the.
Well, you figure, yeah, just those lads, man. Like, there's something you just don't get out when you live out in the sticks, and it's, you know, any show that you can relate to. Like, man, every drama in Ireland's based in Dublin. You might get the odd one in Ballon or whatever, like it's in the middle of nowhere, but they did it right. They did it beautifully, and there'll never be anything like them again.
No, I don't think so, especially in today's society and world of, you know, humor being kind of canned down a little bit, or filtered
I've had this conversation with people, and it's all, like, they never said anything that bad. Like, I can't name anything that was like in any way dodgy from the show, but yeah, we all would think the same thing about the show.
I don't think they did really either, like, you know, but it just seems like it was so reckless in a good way that I feel like a lot of producers are people who sign the fucking sheets on what gets proved or what doesn't. Now, I don't know here. I'm just chatting shit, by the way. But I feel like a lot of those might be worried about that sort of stuff, even though they never did do anything like that. I could be totally wrong, and who knows? I'd love to. I hope I am wrong and we see another series of it happening. I know they were trying. I think they were trying to get. I seen it. A couple of them were trying to get a new series going and starting a what you call that when someone signs the sheet? Petition, yeah, to get one going. I think they were kind of doing a half messing, but I'd love to. I'd love to. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe it's just I'm on Twitter too much lately, I think. I'm on Twitter too much, man.
Started.
But I do feel like comedy and I think it started in America, really, with kind of people getting offended over everything, and then it kind of made its way over here, like everything does. I do feel like things are getting quite diluted lately, and it even has affected my creative process in a way as well, because a lot of my characters I used to come up with, or humor I used to come up with, was very kind of shock factor, you know, very out there humor. Like, I had a comedy series called Mike Hunt and Peter File. I'm not saying the words, but they were the names. It was a play on the obviously what the words are. I know it's a very childish play on words, but that was the humor of it. You know what I mean? It was meant to be a childish play on words, like in a satirical manner, taking the piss out of, you know, kind of presenters in a way. But even that, like, I don't even know if I'd want to do that again. Do you know what I mean? Right now in this kind of climate or whatever, just because
the thing is,
I need to make money too.
If no one does it, like, it's not gonna ever happen again. Like, if we kind of all say, all right, that's a bad thing to say, and we all kind of stick to it, it'll always be a bad thing to say. Comedians are supposed to be out there, like, kind of pushing the limits. That's what it is so well.
I do think they're being choked a little bit now, though. I do think they're being choked a tiny bit when it comes to what they can and can't say. And some of them may not admit that they are, but like I'll gladly admit that there's some sketches that I would have put out, you know, 6 or 7 years ago that I wouldn't dream putting out now, because I just think it's a different climate. But also, like, it used to be a thing where, like, right, this is never going to get on TV, so we'll make it anyway, and we'll throw it up on YouTube or Facebook and see how it goes. But now it's kind of traveled over there as well, you know what I mean, where you will get your channel banned, or, you know, people will go mad or whatever. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Hopefully it'll turn around and people will be back to being creative in whatever capacity they want to be, you know, which I feel like is the end goal for everyone. But I do feel I know a lot of comedians who are way more successful than me, and who would say the same, you know, in a room, which it maybe not in the public if they still have branding or whatever. But
with all the interviews I've done at this point, it's the same story with all of them. Exact same as what you're saying. Like, that they are terrified going out there. All it takes is that one person, and they just have their whole, like, livelihood.
Yeah, it's very scary. It is very scary. It is
Yeah,
scary, and you see it all the time now with lots of people. Stuff's happening. I won't even bring any of it up because I don't want to. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
it's like, yeah, it is scary. But I think as long as you know you're a decent chap and or a decent girl or a decent lady or whatever it is, and you're just trying to make people laugh and you're not trying to take advantage of anybody or
yeah.
punch down on anybody, then I think
The intent is
you should kind
important.
of do it. You should do what you want to do then. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do that. I'm
Yeah,
trying to do that.
yeah. Speaking of like trying to or doing what you want to do, what is it you want to do? Because you're an all rounder. You do everything.
Yeah, that's the thing, Jared. I don't know yet. Like that's the thing, and I think that's what's holding me back. To be honest, I think there was a few times I was offered some serious jobs as like a radio presenter in some well-known radio stations that I turned down because I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to commit the next 5 years of my life to being just the one radio presenter, even though the money would be great. And by God, do I need the fucking money? But but yeah, I still don't know. And maybe I'll decide next year or the year after. But for now, I'm just kind of still finding my way through it and doing what I enjoy. Like I want to do this full time. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be turning my sitting room into a fucking studio if I didn't. You know,
It's your
I always
sitting room.
yeah, yeah. I always want to have the connection to, live stuff and, making videos and media and stuff. So no matter what I do, I think I'll always be putting stuff out on YouTube or doing live streams on Twitch. But I do want to make some documentaries. I'm really interested in documentary making. I want to do that. I also want to make some short films as well. Be the director and I don't want to produce, but I want to write and direct I like producing as well, but I don't want, if it was my own film for some reason, I'd rather be just the director so I could concentrate on that and concentrate on something I write. And I do have lots of, scripts written and stuff that I can work with. But again, it's all about the money as well. Do you know what I mean? And it's about getting the funding. If I had the money right now, I could go out and make the documentaries that I have in my head, or I could, do the short films. So I'd say, yeah, it's tough, man. I don't know. And I also like presenting as well. Do you know what I mean? And so it's tough. It's tough. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wish I had an answer though. Do you know what I mean? I wish it could be like, yeah, that's what it is, but I don't at the minute. And yeah, I've been saying that the past 6 years. I've been saying that the past 6 years, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. You got a creative mind. You just got everything going on at once.
It can be a gift and a curse, though, man. Because as I said, like you kind of you go down too many roads that you can't. There's not enough petrol in the car to get to the end of the road. Do you know what I mean? It's like in all of the cars to get to the end of the road. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm lost with it. I'll see where I go, though. I'm very much just enjoying doing Twitch at the moment. I'm really enjoying that. The Twitch live streams, I'm loving them. Mm-hmm. I'm enjoying doing the podcast and doing the Try channel at the moment. So I'm kind of just coasting at the minute, but I will have to, shake myself at some stage and say, right, I'm going to have to really commit to something and that one thing and do it. So hopefully I do that soon, man.
Yeah, well, I'll be keeping an eye out anyway.
Yeah,
dude, I seriously love what you do, but like, I'm not a Twitch guy, so I haven't seen any of the Twitch stuff.
Yeah.
I only see the YouTube.
That's okay, man.
Someone here had a question that I have to ask you.
Oh, go ahead.
What's your favorite thing about sausages?
Oh, see, that's a Twitch thing. That's Brittany there. She watches the Twitch streams. So basically, right, I need to fucking clear this sausage thing debacle once and for all, right? A friend of mine, we were doing a live stream show called Zoom and Fume, where it was kind of like, I don't know if you know the Adrian Kennedy phone show. Do you know that?
No.
Okay, well, it's like a talk show where people call in. It was on the radio. It still is. Where people call in and they just they give out. Do you know what I mean? They get stuff off their chest. So we did it. I made a YouTube show of that. So people would Zoom call us in and kind of give out, and we'd have a laugh with it, and we'd discuss various topics and whatever. And my co-host at the time, Pepper Me, we were talking about like weird things you did as kids that your parents didn't know you did. And he admitted to us that he used to go to the fridge and take raw sausages out behind his mom and dad's back and eat the raw sausages. So on Twitch, you can make your own emotes. So we made sausage emotes, kind of taking the piss out of my co-host at the time, Pepper Me. So people always spam the chat like with sausages, and now it's become synonymous with my channel unintentionally on Twitch. So that's what Brit's alluding to there, as she asks, what's
That's just special, is what that is. That's beautiful.
it's unintentional though, and now I'm looking at it, and every time like we're live, the sausages everywhere in the fucking chat, and it, as the bit badges and stuff like that. When you get to know Twitch, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it's just sausages everywhere, and I'm kind of like, right, this is a bit much for new people joining in, just seeing sausage emotes all over the place. You know, I don't know if that's the mess.
You'd be wondering what's going on.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the message I want people seeing, but the chat enjoys taking the piss out of it, and it's just a bit of fun. So yeah.
So what's it been
dog's
like
having a shower down there? It's great,
dude? When I started this, he was wearing a jacket, and now it's off. And I'm kind of wondered where he got it to.
Can we see the dog?
Toby, do you want to come here?
Or is he just, if he's just chilling, that's fine.
I don't think he cares anymore.
Toby Maguire, is that who he's named after? No.
I have no idea. Funny enough, I think my dad used to have a dog called Toby, and he's like, "Oh, we'll call this one Toby as well." Like when he was like a young lad.
Oh well,
And,
okay. So it's like The Simpsons, just Santa's little helper all over again.
There you go.
Yeah.
I had a question there before the dog came off. Well, yeah. What's it been like for you, like building a community over all these different platforms and doing all these things? Like your people must be like, "What's he at now?"
Yeah,
Podcast is up. There's a stream going on. He just asked a bunch of people what they did for Paddy's Day. Like, what's going on?
I know.
I
know.
You have Discord, obviously, so you know where you're at. So,
well, half. I'd say I half know what I'm at, but yeah.
So, what exactly is going on there anyway? Like, you're trying to build a community, or what's going on?
Well, I have a little community now. Like, it's a very small community that I have that kind of watches everything I do, or would show some support in the comments with whatever I do, or come into a live stream when they can if they're free. And it took me fucking a long time to get that little community that I have. And I always say on my streams, like, of how grateful I am for those people to come in and stick with me on this little fucking crazy journey that I'm on. Like, and I'm really grateful to them. And sometimes I say so much on stream that I'm like, this probably comes across disingenuous because I say so much, but I am. And there's no better feeling than, and I'm sure you know from doing the live streams yourself and the podcast and stuff, there's no better feeling when you put so much work into what you do, that say clicking the go live button or doing a podcast, that when you click go live, names start coming in and chat starts rolling up the screen. Do you know what I mean? There's no better feeling than that, really. And I'm so fucking grateful to each and every one of them that come in and watch my madness, or click on a video that I make, or watch a podcast that I do. I know Jack's only there for the sausages, but but yeah, I really am. I'm very grateful, and it took a long time to get a little small community. Like, I think some people think you can just start Twitch or start YouTube and then everybody's going to be there, and they don't. They're not. Do you know what I mean? So it did take a lot of work, but I still feel like I'm running on 50%. Do you know what I mean? Like I've so much more to give that I think. I hope, please God, that you will see in the future, or you will see in the future.
I can see it in you. I can see it in you.
I hope so.
Like you, there's no way you could go about doing all these different skits or podcasts or whatever it is you're at and not enjoy it or not have aspirations with it. Like you're going 90 at the moment. So power to you. Like you turn a living room into a studio. Come on. Like, dude, if that's not a dedication.
Well, hopefully I can look back on this podcast in 10 years and go, fuck yes, we did it. And if I don't, and if it doesn't happen, well, then I can say, well, hopefully I can say I gave it me all. Do you know what I mean? And that's all you can do. And I think I'm at the stage where I am kind of going to be giving it me all. Do you know what I mean? I'm 30 years of age now. So, you know, time isn't infinite, or a time, you know, life isn't infinite. So, time is infinite. Life isn't infinite, but I'm kind of realizing that now, and it's kind of making me more determined than I ever was in my whole life. So that's why That's why, sorry, excuse me. That's why the sitting room is turned into a studio, and I'm hoping that this is kind of the turning path of where I'll take it seriously, you know.
Mm. And
Um,
does having kids like make you want to go after it more?
yeah, well, having kids for me was the first fucking that's what started it all for me. I I had Alex. I didn't have him. We
I was
had
about to
Alex.
ask.
Very, yeah. Breaking news: I was actually pregnant. We had Alex, which is my first son, who was 8 now. So he's nearly 9. He's 9 next month. So basically 9 years ago. So 10 years ago, when you put it down to it, the 9 months of pregnancy, and basically at the time I was 19, just turning 20. I hadn't got my leaving cert. I left school. I left school after my junior cert because I just kept getting into fights and kept fucking acting the bollocks and getting in trouble. I was very academic, though. I was very smart at the time. I went to the Helix for an academic award of everybody in the class and stuff. But I kind of just kept being a class clown and getting into fights, and there was a bit of, I wouldn't say I was bullied, but I definitely definitely didn't have an easy time, being the only one-legged man in the whole fucking school. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I
um,
I didn't really want to touch on that because I feel like you just like from looking at your content, it seems there's a bit of an obsession there. But though I do genuinely wonder. But like you answered in the Q&A thing, um, like how did that affect you growing up? Because lads are ruthless.
they are. I'll get to it. I'll just finish this story and then I'll get to that. So do remind me after I finish this. It's just I just want to touch on this though. So yeah, I was basically 19 turning 20. I was in a box room in my mom's house. I didn't know what. All I did was like drink every weekend and play games during the week. I felt like such a waste of fucking space, and I'm sure everyone's been there, especially now with lockdown. You know what I mean? Happening, we can get in on ourselves. And I met a nice lady at the time, and obviously we got into a relationship, and she got pregnant, and I just remember like sitting there with like no fucking, like literally no money, not even a euro, for a packet of crisps, thinking, how the hell am I going to bring a child into this world, and what are they going to look up to? Just, you know what I mean? And it was a big shock to the system of like, right, I need to get me life in order. I need to be doing something here. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's when I kind of did a FOSS course then to get the equivalent of the leaving cert so that I could go to college. And then I went to college for 4 years, and it was the best decision I ever made, really. I met some awesome friends in college who were so supportive, and I found something that I was good at in college, which was media, and media production. And I just found something like that I had a real interest, because I never had a real interest in school or in maths, or, like, although it was easy to me, I wasn't interested in it. So I just put zero effort into it. And thankfully, when I went to college, I just found something that I loved. And I had that determination as well of like, I have to get the leaving cert, I have to get a degree. Not that you need a degree to be a parent or anything, but just for me personally, I wanted to be able to say to my kids when they hit 18 or 19, look, you have to get up now, and make something of yourself, like I did back then. And I felt like if I didn't do that at the time, when my kids get older, like, what am I going to say? I can't tell them to do anything, or they'll just say, well, you just sat on your hole for your whole life. Do you know what I mean? So it was it was a massive turning point in my life. It was the biggest probably awakening I've ever had, that like, right, it's not just you anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and I wonder if I didn't, if my first son wasn't born, I don't know where I'd be. Do you know what I mean? Because I needed that kick up the arse. Do you know what I mean? And he obviously was the best thing that ever happened to me. I love him to bits, and I love my other sons, Act to bits as well. They're my life.
Yeah. Well, that's good, man. Like
So we were talking
that's a
about.
rough thing. Like out of nowhere, like a kid pops into your life, and you have to kind of step up. I have a few friends who that's happened to, and dude, there's no better kick in the ass.
Yeah, there isn't, because it's real. It's
Yeah,
it's as real as it gets.
like
It's
you can
it's
fuck yourself up, but
yes.
a kid, no way. You gotta do everything you can to be the right person for him.
Exactly. And back then I didn't care about myself. Do you know what I mean? I didn't give a fuck about myself at all. But now it wasn't just me, as you said there. So I had to care for him, and I wanted to be, and I hope that I am a good father, you know, and that trumps all of this stuff, all this madness to me. Like that's the main thing for me is my kids, and um, yeah, that's that's why I want to start making some proper money for them now as well. Do you know what I mean? So I can get a big house and a nice back garden and a car, and not have to worry about certain expenses that comes with having kids. So it's definitely a major driving force, and I think it is for most parents. Whether it's working 9 to 5, whether it's fucking working in media, whether it's whatever you do with the kids, or your kids in your life, and you want to provide the best you can for them.
Yeah. Well, with your dedication, I'm sure you got to it.
Yeah, well, I'm doing okay. I'm not fucking world's #1 dad by no means. You know what I mean? I have my mistakes, and I'm still learning how to be a father, just as much as everybody is when you're a parent. There's no as people always say, there's no fucking guidebook. But I like to think that I'm doing an okay job. I'm like I strive to do a brilliant job, but I'd say I'm an okay father. People hate when I say that though, because they're like, "No, you're brilliant," and I'm like, "Nah, you can." If you say you're a brilliant dad, well, then you're not, in my opinion. if you say, "Yeah, I'm the best dad ever. I'm a brilliant dad," well, then you're probably a shit dad. You're probably a terrible father if you say that.
Do your kids ever wonder what you do?
Nobody can be a brilliant father or mother, because it's you're learning, and every kid is different, and you're trying your best to guide them through life and the world, which is such a crazy place in itself. So to proclaim that you're brilliant at that is a bit mad, in my opinion. We're getting very deep tonight. I'm sorry, Jared. I'm in a deep humor tonight.
I'm glad. I'm glad.
You were talking about school there, and what that was like. What was your kind of question there, or where are you?
Well, look, I'm assuming that like everywhere, the lads in your school were rough. And it would have gave you the slagging of a lifetime.
Yes.
Did that kind of carry on go on?
It did, and it didn't, and it's a weird one. Maybe I'm in a bit of denial about it, with kind of tough guy syndrome, thinking like, "Oh, it didn't bother me," or whatever. Do you know, that kind of attitude? I probably still have a little bit of that leaking in me. But looking back, when I really kind of digest of secondary school and stuff like that, I was never like extremely bullied or anything like that, and I was always quick-witted, so I was very good at putting people down if they came at me. Do you know what I mean? Like if somebody slagged me, I'd immediately pinpoint their flaws and kind of make a show of them pretty quickly. But it was just the fact of always having to be on guard all the time. Do you know what I mean? And always having to be witty, and always having to kind of win the slagging match, and always having to like try and prove myself physically by getting into a fight with somebody, because they thought that the fact that I have a prosthetic leg, that I wouldn't be able to fight or whatever. It was kind of more so the pressure of always feeling like I had to prove myself more than everybody else that kind of got to me, and that's probably why I left school and acted the bollocks and didn't care about anything, because I just constantly felt like I was under that pressure. When I don't think anybody though purposely did that, or there was no particular one chap in school or group of people that particularly picked on me or anything like that. And I think as well, everybody gets slagged in secondary school, well, back then, 15 years ago when I was in secondary school, everybody did, maybe like one or two who were like the best fighters in the class didn't, because people were afraid they'd get a thump in the head. But I think, I don't know. I think it was just the pressure of constantly feeling on guard, because I knew there was going to be slaggings coming, and I knew I had to kind of make a show of them, or prove myself, or stand up to people, and I always did. And I'm proud of that. Do you know what I mean? Even though I was a teenager, I definitely always stood my ground, and gave as good as I got back in the day. But as well as that, I think it molded me a little bit, you know what I mean? Like I can put crazy shit out into the internet, or make a sketch that might not like go down well, or do an interview, and it kind of molded me in a way of like, I already went through a lot and got a lot of the worst slaggings you could get or whatever. I don't really care what fucking John Boy down the road comments on me YouTube. Do you know what I mean? That's like, whatever. Like,
Well, YouTube comments can be rough.
They can. They really can.
I had it to a point where I couldn't go to sleep one time.
Oh, really? Did you?
It was fucking awful because there's two of us on it. I was the main target of it, and it's because we had a disagreement with someone. We had this guy on, David Weiss, and he's a flat earth guy. So we spent the entire thing trying to. He's a flat earther.
Oh, okay.
Thinks the earth's flat.
Okay.
So we were trying to like debunk that the whole way through.
So he's insane, basically.
So look, we
you
tried
don't have to say. I'll say he's insane.
I'm not a fan of him after what he did. But
so what did he do? What did he do? What happened?
Well, he's trying to convince us on flat Earth. We didn't pick up on his bullshit. We did. We picked up on his bullshit. Like we debunked it in so many different ways. We went so many different angles.
Do you even need to debunk it? Well, have you ever been on an airplane?
In his eyes, you have to. So we did. We went as far as we could. We did debunk it like more than once. But what he did was he doesn't do this. Like he does a lot of podcasts. Like he invites himself on the ones. Like he asked to be on basically. And like even friends we have in the States, we're completely different podcasts. Like we're getting the same message off the guy. So what he did, and he never does it, is he did a reaction video to our podcast that we posted, and he was like, he was taking things out of context, or he was, I know, like really heavily criticizing it. And then basically what he did was he got all of his fans to come into the comments and absolutely rip us to bits.
While you were live or whatever, was it?
No, this was after.
Okay.
But the video went out a couple of days. So it's about 8 o'clock and the first few comments are coming in. Then maybe 20 in a minute. Like, what the fuck's going on here? And we find out he's after posting it, and we keep refreshing the comments, and there's a new one every single second. Not minute, second. Every time you could refresh it, as fast as you could refresh it, there was 1, 2, 3. And dude, it was rough. Like, we were getting some awful shit just because we had a disagreement with a guy. And it got 1,500 comments, but he got the first 1,000 in the first day. And that was a hard night to sleep.
Does he have a huge following, this chap? Does he have a big following?
In fairness, he does, yeah. About 60 to 80K.
On YouTube, is it?
Yeah.
And he is, I know you probably didn't want to discuss this in this much depth, but he's a complete flat earther. Like, he believes that the earth is flat.
Well, look.
Or is he just doing that to get followers in the shock factor of what he's saying? Because
the way I interpret it is,
I can't believe we're even discussing this.
He's a master's in marketing, and he puts it to good use.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Yeah. I don't know where to go with that, other than you had an argument with an insane person and they got annoyed and sent their followers over, which is the lowest of the low. Like, if I ever have a disagreement with anyone, I'd never ever send people over to their channel to be like, go make this chap feel uncomfortable and comment and tell him how much of it wrong he is, and that's so unprofessional as well. So
but I'm proud because he's brought us up on 2 different podcasts before as an example of, in his eyes, ignorance. But I feel like
posting them globes and shit.
I did his thing, but like his people actually started subscribing, and what they do is they comment on everything, or they just drop a dislike on everything. And I put up this thing of like how, like, it was a poll on YouTube, like, how flat is the earth? Flat, super flat, mega flat, like stuff like that. And then dude, the comments, they were not happy.
I would put people who say the earth is flat in the same bracket as an adult saying that the tooth fairy is real.
Sure.
I don't think there's any difference there. They're both talking absolute shite. It's like, I can't believe that it's even a debate. Like, I don't even know why we're talking about it.
It's not.
Yeah.
What pissed them off is...
That's just my opinion. If you're watching, I'm sorry, Jerry. I don't even know his name, but that's just my opinion on the matter. If you're a flat earther, I'm sorry you're offended by my comments.
Yeah, well, whatever. he got pretty pissed off because I told him to jump mid podcast. He's talking about it. He's saying he doesn't believe in gravity. It's all magnetism. And I said, do me a favor. Jump for me. Look at disgust on the guy's face.
Oh
That was my
God.
favorite moment. But look, moving on from that,
Yeah.
on other interviews, what makes you pick the people you pick?
On the street interviews, is it, or on the podcast, or what is it?
Podcast.
I just pick people I'm interested in, or if I find a subject that like I did one on religion, and I always have a weird relationship with religion where like half of me is like, what a load of bullshit. Same as like the tooth fairy, half of me is like that, and then the other half of me is like, but then again, nobody knows why we exist, or what existence is, or what consciousness is, or how far is eternity, or why are we on this spinning ball, this spinning globe? Why are we on that? And so then I'm like, maybe there is something there, you know what I mean? So I'm very interested in that subject myself personally. So I thought, why not get two random devout Christians who are completely fully wholeheartedly believe in God and Jesus and everything like that. And I said, I'll do a podcast and we'll have a chat, a respectful chat. It wasn't me saying, oh, I don't believe in religion or anything. We had a lovely conversation. So that was one of the guests. That was like totally random. I seen them live streaming on Twitch, and I was like, yeah, we'll get them on. And for me, it was probably my favorite podcast I've done, even though they're not very well known, but the context and the conversation in the podcast was quite interesting to me, even after I watched it back. And then the rest are just people I'm interested in, really, people I enjoy. Like my latest one I did was with a Twitch streamer called Pie, who has Pie Face, who has average like 8 to 10,000 people watching him every night playing FIFA. And I kind of wanted to get to a more realer version of him. And I got him on the podcast, and it was because I watch him and I find him funny that I got him on. So yeah, really just anybody I'm really interested in, or even if somebody messaged me and said, I've seen some of your podcasts, I'd like to come on. And if they have like something that's interesting to talk about, or a subject to talk about, or a really interesting story of something to do with their lives or whatever, I'd get them on, if I want it. But there's a lot of people that like are my friends, or that are Twitch streamers, that kind of ask me, can they come on? And I'm like, yeah, but I never really do it, because it's kind of like, it just has to be something I want to do, I want to talk about. Yeah. And it's no disrespect to them. They're really interesting people or whatever. It's just, I kind of want to keep it like, right, this is one I definitely want to do, so I'll get somebody on. And that's the way I work it. I only have 10 podcasts out, you know what I mean? And I'm doing it a couple of months, so I'm still very extremely new to it. But I definitely want to do more and see who I can get on. But I want to make sure that each episode is kind of special in its own way, for a reason why people can click in. Because I feel like if I start just making chatting to anyone that wants to come on, or just getting somebody real quick to come on, I feel like they'll click in. So like the audience will click in, watch it once, and even though some of the other podcasts might be brilliant, they'll be like, oh, this isn't for me. So I kind of want to keep it that way, where I have to feel like there's an interesting story there, or a really interesting life there to talk about, you know what I mean? So, yeah. But everyone does it differently, and I'm still fairly fucking new, so I don't really have any method yet, you know what I mean? I'm still figuring it out.
Absolutely. And does doing the podcast show you as well that most people are just a question away?
In what sense?
Like when you asked Martin Maloney to get on.
Oh, yeah.
He was literally just like a Instagram message away. That's
the thing that I don't like about podcasting the most, is constantly having to ask and like chase people. And I know that's part of it, but I feel like an absolute asshole most of the time when I'm like, I feel like I'm like, will you come on me podcast? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm begging for something or something sometimes. And I know that's wrong to feel like that. And I'm not really. And most people that come on are delighted to come on, and we have a lovely chat. But just for me, I'd love to have somebody to do that for me or something eventually. Do you know what I mean? That like,
we all want the Joe Rogan Jamie. We all want that guy.
Yeah. I'd love that, where I have a couple of names of people I'd like to get on and chat to, and I can see if we can I don't know, make it without me having to go, will you come on me podcast there, yeah, please. Not that there's nothing wrong, you should ask, but
Yeah.
it is surprising that, yeah, sometimes like you ask somebody that's huge, or that has a massive following at the moment, or they're really free, or they're really like, they have very free time, and they say yes, and you're like, yes, fucking brilliant. And that's like, it's like scoring a fucking 90-minute goal. Do you know what I mean? It's a good feeling as well. And yeah, I enjoy that as well, I suppose.
Yeah, I've learned it myself. Like we've had some big names just say no,
Yeah.
which is
Oh, just
sometimes
say
even
that.
better.
Okay.
It's even better. Like Patton Oswalt,
I don't know. I'm very bad with everything in life.
Tish. He's you watched
Um,
Ratatouille.
yes.
He's a mouse.
Ratatouille.
He's a rat.
Oh, so he's a big actor, like.
Yeah, no, we got him to say no, and that's like a highlight at this point.
Your
Yeah.
most prestigious no. I love it.
Yeah, I was part of that one. But then when Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War came out, we had nearly the entire cast on within a month.
Holy.
They were beautiful people, amazing individuals. But it just, because you think with a game as big as Call of Duty, whatever, these people would be impossible. Their careers just blew up. But no, they were so easy to get on, and that's the case with everyone. Like most people are even new to podcast, or sometimes they haven't done it before. Yeah, you just gotta ask, and hopefully you get a yeah. If you get a no, make sure it's a cool no.
Yeah. Well, I think as well, it's about how you ask as well, and that's what I was saying. Like the way you message was a really nice message, and was like,
how did I message you? I kind of forget.
I don't know what you said, but you gave an L compliment in there, and you were like, I watched a couple of your podcasts, and I really enjoyed them. Would you come on? And I think that's a nice way to ask as well. Like, but yeah, it's just, I don't know.
I hope you know it's genuine.
I know, like, I do know. Well, I hope, yeah. I do know, yeah. No,
I want your shit, so yeah.
No, I do know.
But like I said it in the message, dude, your interview style is just so good, because you're thinking what we're thinking when we're listening, and like you're asking it before we can even think it. Sometimes it just works. It makes me feel like I'm just babbling on, because it's like it looks like you have structures, but you're not even trying to be structured.
Yeah, well, it took a long time, and I threw myself into community radio for 3 years, and I did it for free every twice a week. I did a show in a place called Near FM in Coolock, and every week I'd have a new guest in, and I made sure that every week I'd have somebody new in to talk to and to interview, to kind of hone in on those interview skills. So yeah, I put a lot of work into that, and it's funny though, because when I first started, man, my voice, like listening back to some of them, my voice is completely nervous. It's like, like you can hear the shakes in my voice, and that's
why I want to take down the Owen Colgan interview, dude. My voice, I was like,
yeah,
no.
Own that though. You have to kind of own that and be proud of how far the progress you're making. Do you know what I mean? In it, but it didn't just happen overnight. Like I wasn't just born with it. Learning how, I wasn't just born being able to talk or anything like that. It took me a while, and I'm still learning. But I did so many hours of interviews that I feel like you could sit me in front of anybody and I could have a chat with them, and try and find some interesting stuff, or you know what I mean. And it's weird, like being this side of it, where you're being interviewed. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much. I'm so used to being the interviewer or whatever. So it's nice though for somebody else to steer the ship. Do you know what I mean? Which is what you're doing. And it's not an easy thing to do. It really isn't. It can be very difficult, and sometimes you lose your train of thought, or you go blank. But I think it's about becoming comfortable with them moments that really set you apart from others. Do you know what I mean? If you can just get comfortable with a silence, or with a which you're losing your train of thoughts, that it just becomes so much easier. I think we lost Gerard. Gerard! Is anyone else still here? Just as we're talking about being comfortable with silence. He's back! Gerard, there you go.
I caught the last bit of that. I missed the first bit. I don't know what happened there.
that was a perfect example. We were just talking about like getting comfortable with the silence or with loss of thought or whatever that happens during an interview. That you kind of, if you can handle that well, and you get used to it as interviews go on, and then you went off. So it was like a perfect time. That was brilliant. You couldn't have scripted that. Oh, he's gone again. Jared, somebody ring an ambulance. He's frozen. Can you still see me on his YouTube? If anybody, let me know in the comments if you can still see me, if it's just his camera frozen, or are we both frozen? Obviously, if nobody replies, oh, he's back! Yahoo!
How many shades of red do I look like right now? Dude,
no, you're grand. You're grand. It's just the internet. It's not your fault. Could people still see me? They could still hear me. That was gas. Yeah, they could still. Yeah, just the internet.
If I disconnect again, you're here.
You're handling it like a pure pro, man. See, that you're way better than me at this.
Well, dude, I'm still learning off you. I watch a lot of people, and I try to learn as much as I can from them. Like the last 2 guys I've had on, yourself included, 3 guys have been interviewers, and like I basically have these on to try learn a bit from you. Like I think when you go into this, you kind of go in with such relaxation, but also confidence. Like you know what you're gonna do, like so well that you just chill out about it.
Yeah, but
even if it's not conscious, like you're nailing it.
I wasn't always, though. Do you know what I mean? I definitely wasn't always, and I'm glad that it's coming across like that now. That's fucking fantastic, man. But I definitely wasn't always. But as you've said, you've done so many podcasts now and interviews and chatting. Like it kind of just becomes the norm. Do you know what I mean? It's like I think you have to put yourself in there and do lots before it becomes even comfortable for you. You know, and that's it. Yeah, it's just down to repetition and just doing it and doing it and doing it. And then also, like my dad would have been a very gift of the gab man. Do you know what I mean? He'd make friends wherever he went, or he's still alive. I'm talking like he's dead, but he makes friends wherever he goes or whatever. And he's always so quick witted and unintentionally funny and just very good at talking to people. Even though he has a very strong North Dublin accent, and he wouldn't be fucking a graduate of Trinity, but he always had that people thing, and I think growing up seeing that, sorry, that's my window, it's about to come through. Growing up seeing that kind of probably helped a little bit as well. Do you know what I mean? In that environment with somebody who was so chatty and funny, and I think that helps, doesn't it?
Yeah. Kind of a superstition thing. When you said gift of the gab, it kind of reminded me of something. You ever been to the Blarney Stone?
I haven't. No. Is that if you kiss that, gives you the gift of gab?
Gift of gab, yeah. I did gave that a go pre-COVID.
Did you?
Yeah, dude, that's fucking scary.
Do you believe in it? Do you think it works?
Well, I don't know. I had no intention of doing this like beforehand, and then I.
Oh, really?
Did and no, I genuinely believe it helps, just because the story behind it kind of makes you believe something. I don't know.
Oh, what's the story behind it? What?
Well, if you kiss it, you get the gift of the gab, or the gift of eloquence, as some people put it. So
nice.
If it works for some people, because they also have a list of people who've done it, and they're always like successful people. So.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. No, I didn't. I didn't even realize that.
But when you do it, it's scary. Like there's someone like basically sitting on your legs. And like you're holding 2 bars and you're leaning back as far as you can go. There's nothing below you. You could fucking fall and die.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that's any happened to someone. There's like, no, listen. There's a cage there, but that cage is like, I don't know. It's not big enough to catch you.
Yeah.
Like it'll smash your head when you fall, but that's about it.
God.
It's not a proper cage. It's like 4 rebar, shaped in like an X. But like you could fall and die, and I don't know. It's just something about that.
Maybe it's the fact that you're going through a near-death experience, that after you go through it, everything else is easy. Do you know what I mean? You can just talk to anyone then, because you nearly died kissing that fucking stone.
I'll give you a cool story too. There you go. But to step out of your comfort zone, you kind of gotta, or to expand your comfort zone, you gotta step out of it every now and then.
Exactly.
And doing stuff like that helps.
Exactly, of course it does. I agree with you. And
same with these interviews, these conversations.
They do. It does help, and they. I think you're very good at it, man. I think you're from what I'm talking to you now. You're a pro to me, you know. But
Give us a gab.
what
No,
was I
no,
gonna,
dude, I just find you interesting, so it comes easy.
that's it exactly. What was I going to say there? Oh shit, I forget what I was going to say. Oh no, I had something really insightful to say, but I can't remember what it was.
Give us a gab. Risk in your life. What was it?
No, you said something, and then I was gonna go with something you said there. But, oh yeah, so yeah, that's what I did with the Near FM thing when I joined the community radio station, and it's completely free, and not many people listen. uh, um, but I still did like two or 3 years in there to throw myself out my comfort zone to get better at it, and I think it worked, you know. And I had a lovely time doing it, and there was no pressure because like it's community radio, so there's not many listening, you know, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's definitely why I did that, and it was only when you said throwing yourself out of your comfort zone, I was like, oh yeah, that's why I did it, because it was so long ago now. I sometimes forget why I did certain things. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what was I doing that for 3 years? Wasn't making a penny,
Yeah.
and I was
Successful people
traveling
don't
an hour
limit
on the bus
themselves.
every day and an hour back to get there. You know, I was losing money going when I had no money.
But you keep presenting yourself with opportunity and expanding your comfort zone. You know your range of skills, and look where you are now. Like it's helped you obviously.
Oh, it definitely has helped me, but I'm still I'm nowhere near where I want to be, Jared. As I said, you know.
But I tell you what, now if people want to keep up with you and see you finally get there, where can they find you? Because I know you got to go soon.
Yes, I do. I have to put the kids to bed. It's 11 o'clock, but I let them stay up later if the mammies are watching. I'm sorry. Uh, if you want to check me out, you can find me most frequently lately on twitch.tv/Jamie J Carr, JAMIE JAYCAR, Jamie J Carr. Think of Carr, you won't forget. And I think you'll have a bit of fun if you do pop over to the Twitch channel. They're very random, they're very weird. Sometimes they're not as good as others, and sometimes they're better than other times. But if you do check out the Twitch channel, I'd really like that. I'm going to be live, actually. I don't know. I was going to say I don't know when this is coming out, but it's live. I'm going to be live tomorrow. I'm going to be live tomorrow night. Sunday night at around 9 or 10. I'm sorry if it's coinciding with whatever you're doing. If Jared's doing that, and watch Jared though, right? But I'm going to be live around 9 or 10 tomorrow on twitch.tv/Jamie J Carr. And we're actually doing some really fun stuff, Jared. Maybe you could come in if you're free.
I will.
We're doing a crisp tier list to start us off. And I'll have 5 minutes here before I go. And this caused major controversy, Jared. We did a crisp tier list on the live stream a couple of weeks ago, where you know you put like whatever your favorite crisps are into the tiers. You know what a tier list is, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there was major controversy out of it. We left loads of crisps out. People went mad. Twitter went on a fucking rampage. It was murder, Jared, right? It was really murder. People were getting pitchforks out. So we're gonna do that tomorrow night. We're gonna redo it and add all the crisps that were left out. Then we're also going to do a thing called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's a popular quiz show if you don't know what it is. And we do a thing. I do a thing where I always say we, like there's a crowd of people. It's just me. I do a thing where I get people to call in and play against the game, but you can't cheat. You can't Google. So you could video call us in on Discord or whatever, or on Zoom, or now on StreamYard, which you have introduced me to, and play Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And if anybody gets to the millionaire, if they win $1 million, I'll give them a prize or whatever. And then after that, I'm going to be playing horror games till very late, probably till like 6 a.m. So it's going to be a big one tomorrow night on Twitch. If anybody's here and wants to pop over and say hello, I'd appreciate it, because I need friends in lockdown.
So remind us what time tomorrow.
Around 9 or 10. I see. I have a try video tomorrow to shoot from 6 to 8. So whenever I get back from that, I'll come back and have something to eat and then go live. So yeah, around 9 or 10.
I'm gonna have to have you on again to talk about the Try channel.
Yeah,
I forgot to bring that up today.
Talk about what?
The Try channel. That's such a big show.
Yeah, it's huge. I feel like we only got started talking. So yeah, I definitely love to come on again, and maybe we can chat a bit more and a bit deeper. And I'm very fucking honored and grateful that you asked me, Jared. It means a lot to me because as I said, I'm working hard on this, so it's nice when people kind of recognize that and say, "Oh, I'd love to have a chat with you on my podcast. I like what you do." So, I wish you nothing but success as well, Jared. I'm sure you're doing brilliantly already, and I'm looking forward to actually checking out some of your podcasts that you've done previously. So honestly, man, thanks for asking me on. I mean that. No bullshit.
Yes. No, so thank you again for getting on. As I said earlier, like I really do like what you do. So I'll still be keeping an eye on it. I'll even show up to Twitch tomorrow. There you go.
Brilliant. Yeah. Pop in and say
Um,
hello. I'd love that, man. And give me a shout in a couple of weeks, and we'll do a part 2 of this, because I feel like we're only getting into the conversation, and there's a lot more we can chat about.
that's the problem with doing these shows. Like you meet someone for the first time, and you're like, wait, we have a lot to talk about here.
Yeah. I want to get to know you a bit more, Jared, as well in the next one, and see what you're all about as well. So yeah, definitely we have to do a part 2. And
there we go.
Sorry if I talk too much. I don't get to talk to anyone anymore, man.
That's such like a silly sentence to say. Like, you know, how are you getting on, Jamie? Do you want to get in the podcast? Sorry, I talk too much, man.
I know, but you don't want to
be quiet next time.
You don't want to be that dickhead that didn't shut up and let the other person talk, which sometimes I am.
That's all right. No, I wanted to hear more about you. So again, thank you for getting on today. Thanks to anyone who watched and anyone who came over from Jamie. Make sure you subscribe.
Yeah,
and
do.
There you go.
I'll leave it in the comments there, the Twitch link as well, for people, if that's all right. Is it?
Yeah,
Does it take links? If anyone's there that can pop in, why not? Tomorrow night pop in. I see some. I had the comments open in like on the left monitor there, so I seen some people saying some nice stuff in the chat. I appreciate that as well. Thanks everybody. There you go. See yous.
All right, everyone.
Right, Jared. Thanks very much, man. Have a good night.